Hey, IG, we're live. Ice Siren Squad. I just got some life to talk about today, but first, IG, I found a little bit of my past at the grocery store. Can you believe that Texas has found a way to make me drink pop?
What?
The Smirnoff Ice Orange Cream Pop is what they call this drink. Now, did you get worried I was going to go Minnesota on you?
Yes, I hate that state. I almost.
Oh my God! It was like that was like
a problematic soundbite. Anyway, I hate that state with every fiber in my being. Sorry, Minnesotans, but I don't like you.
Well, you doesn't. Yeah, no, wait. You don't have to hate all of them. I mean, the people are not a part of it, but he had a meltdown chat on the reel. It was his second winter. The first winter we were there, I heard.
Conspiracy theorist.
No, you stop and you let me tell this story. The first winter we're there, okay? The only time it snowed, we got there on December 20th. The only time it snowed was Christmas all year long. It was the most mild winter we had ever been there. And all I heard is, Mom, I don't understand why you make such a big deal out of it. Why'd you hate living here so much? Blah, 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 blah. After 3 years of staying there, it only took one full cycle for winter to come back around living up there when IG lost his shit, and I've never seen truer cabin fever a day in my life. I mean, I know the old timers used to talk about it up there in the north, but I never actually saw it. And then he flipped the fuck out and went off on a tangent that was something like, for 6 months out of the year, it's just too cold. You can't even go outside. Then you get to go outside, and there's bloodsuckers in the air. There's bloodsuckers in the water. There's bloodsuckers in the trees. There's just bloodsuckers everywhere. Mosquitoes, ticks, leeches. There's nothing you can fucking enjoy here.
Wrong. Just because I sporadically told the truth doesn't mean that my truth was false.
Nobody said anything that it was false. Nobody said that you were wrong. All I claimed to have said here is that I think you were experiencing what I had referred to as cabin fever. That's all I was saying. No attack. But you were hilarious because you were right. We were pulling ticks off the dogs, the mosquitoes were horrible, and we tried to go swimming and got leeches.
Yeah.
But boy, those leaves in the fall are something though, huh? For the 6 weeks, you get those really pretty colors.
Yeah, the 6 weeks. The 6 weeks you get to enjoy anything about that state. It's only 6 weeks. Every other thing is a lie about it.
To be fair, you didn't get to experience ice fishing on an actual house on the water. Think about it, a house on water. Okay, and if you had a good one, it had a heater. And if you didn't have a good one, you may have had a heater that almost killed you from carbon monoxide poisoning, which almost happened to, my longtime childhood friend up there. My little trio, my high school trio, 2 of them went out to go ice fishing, and really for us at that age, what I think it actually meant is we're going to go smoke weed and drink. But anyways, they went to go ice fishing, and it was just them, but the heater ended up causing carbon monoxide poisoning, and they had to be airlifted to an actual city because the village.
The fun activities might get you killed because you have to bring equipment so you don't freeze to death. It was either die of carbon monoxide poisoning or freeze to death. See, you have to choose even when you're trying to have fun.
I mean, you could just not have
fun, quote unquote.
There's different heating elements. There's different things that can be done here. I mean, it's a lot of work to live a happy life up there. That's what I'll say. Maybe that's why I'm so good at living such a happy life down here and getting over everything the way I do, is because it's so much less work. Yeah, it's easy mode.
It's easy mode to be happy here.
Yeah. Yes, that. So. Yeah, no, I was thinking about it today.
Too.
So I was thinking about it today, and I was like, man, you know what nobody's understood about me in all of this time? In all my life that I have lived, there's a really key element that people don't understand. If people aren't somebody I want to be around, I won't be around them. So when they act in a way that really just rubs me the wrong way, when I finally reach that breaking point and I walk away, they've done it in a manner that, because they have literally behaved in a sense to a point and crossed a fucking threshold that I'm just like, this is not fucking worth it. I don't, you're not obviously not going to be a person I want to be around. So why am I going to be around you? Is literally as simplistic as it gets. And I was thinking about this today because I've had a really crazy fucking like just doing life kind of day. It's boring shit, nothing great. But IG sounds a little quieter than you. Oh, he's supposed to be. I just moved my microphone closer to me. He's supposed to be about 5 decibels lower. Anyways, because if I'm speaking, I'll be the loudest.
Yeah, no one wants to overspeak Andromeda. Well.
And in my stream, no one can, even if they want to.
She holds the power here.
So, but no, anyways, I was just having this day, like, it's just been like, so I was thinking yesterday that I really wanted to do something because I felt like I was kind of starting to get into a little bit of a funk. Like, I'm like, all right, we've gotten through this step. What's next? What's next? What's next? You know? And so, oh, by the way, chat, I'm looking at all my lists here. Well, okay, so anyways, I'll just talk about this. So I've just kind of been dealing with life, and as you know, I am my nephew here. Chad, I'm talking to you, obviously. He knows that his cousin's living with us. It's inescapable. We all know. But, so I was contacted, and there's a lot of things around, like, just the experience, because the trauma that I have, my trauma that I just recently, like my big onset that really got me, like where I like really needed extra help and where I went to a psych ward and all that stuff, all stems off of my in-laws, with other people's help, but my in-laws set a stage. I have now since learned so much about my childhood, like how I was susceptible to certain things as like a human being, just because I've grown. Because here's what I was going to say about it is, when you're being raised by parents who aren't like, I guess just let's go with healthy, because look, happy isn't just healthy. Okay, being able to be upset and demonstrate how to work through upset, that's healthy. Not ever having fights is not healthy. There's lots of parents who believe that they needed a rule, like my dad was like trying to engineer people. So that was my dad's thing. My mom was like not actually that present. But either way, this is how things start. And it might start small, but as things are growing and developed, I have a narcissistic father. I've come to accept my father-in-law too. I am drawn to these people. And I could make a spider web, because you would think that I just call everybody a narcissist, but no, here's the truth. I navigate towards people like that. For one, narcissists will show you the greatest confidence in the world, even if it's fake. And I am a genuinely confident person usually. So you're already attracted. People are attracted to confidence. People like people who know what the fuck they're doing. And it speaks volumes. And so the problem with narcissists is that it's a fake confidence. And they will often downplay, belittle, or, just like be nasty to anybody that might shine any light on the fact that their confidence may not be real, or make them feel like they're lacking confidence. The worst thing a narcissist can feel is a lack of confidence. And if they feel like somebody has made them feel a lack of confidence, they will immediately withdraw. They will immediately because here's the truth. If you have if it's fake confidence, then you're nobody's going to make you question anything. Or anybody can make you question something. If it's true confidence, you're not going to question it. If it's fake confidence, you're going to question yourself. But here's the deal, is sometimes we should be slapped in the face with the fact that maybe there's things that we're confident in, but doesn't mean we're right. And that's where healthy people will turn around and be able to accept criticism, and a narcissist will just be like, you're stupid. This is the way I think. My father-in-law once had an argument with me over the fact that Washington, D.C. museums are a waste of time and money because there's no reason for us to remember the history. Leave it in the past.
Bah.
How the fuck does that work if you're not going to learn what has led to... If we don't learn from other people's triumphs and mistakes, then how the fuck are we ever supposed to continually navigate forward? That is how we know how things work and how they don't. And, so it was like the most asinine thing I had ever fucking heard, But it was just, he didn't know much about it. He had never been there. He hadn't seen it, but it didn't matter because it was his opinion, and that's just the way he's going to be. But he was very confident in being smart and right about it. Completely unopen to any any other possible scenario. And so this is what happens. A narcissist gets this fake confidence. They think they're all right. Then now they take anything that shakes their confidence is a threat, and any criticism is an attack. So you try to share something in a constructively critic manner that you're trying to be healthy. Let's say you have good communication skills and you're trying to share something. It doesn't matter because you're not being heard already. You've activated their little spidey sense and they're going off. And everything I have read, like why the going no contact is everything. So here's the deal. Narcissists learn how to play on the buttons, knowing these things, and hit emotional, like, to get the reactions that they want. Well, my father-in-law hated me, and he absolutely wanted me to react in the most batshit crazy manner, and I held it together. And the first time I ever raised my voice, we left that day. Because I was not going to be around somebody who I wasn't capable of keeping my cool around it. He was being awful. And every time I tried something, he was awful. It was awful. I mean, it was the worst thing ever. But it's what opened the door to allow me to fall into the relationship I fell into. And it took that relationship for me to draw back to my father-in-law, which then led me to realize all my daddy issues, which then made this super horrible triangulation in psychology of why I do what I do. And then my job was to stop it. Just stop it. Okay?
No more.
All
done.
This sounds all good. That sounds all good and fine and dandy, but damn, that was a rocky road in some days. You know what? It's not a rocky road anymore, though. You know that? Like, even my bad days now are still better than my worst days then. You know? Like, it's okay. So anyways, but so I was talking, though, because I was contacted in regards to my nephew, and I haven't heard anything. I haven't talked to anybody about him in a long time. But here's the deal. I could tell, because this person got trauma issues, clearly, you know, and it comes because after you've interacted with the downfall of the narcissistic family that is my in-laws, I swear to God, it'll fuck anybody up, okay? Been in a relationship with one of the fucking, my ex-husband is no exception to this. Because then what I was going to get to with this is kids that don't even know any better are watching people grow up. They're watching more than they're paying. Like, you could say all you want to your children, you know, but they are definitely watching, and children watch. And then when certain dynamics of behaviors and relations are being displayed in front of them, they start to idealize them and think that they're normal. So, like, the only reason I didn't know that the way my dad treated women was normal, like, not normal. The reason I knew it was not normal is because I had my mother, and my mother turned around, and when my dad pulled the discarding act on her, she fucking plopped us both into fucking therapy. I've been there since I was 4, chat. I have been going to see mental health professionals since I was 4 years old. Saved my life. And the quality of it in almost every fucking scenario of time. And I get that people feel like it's not for everybody. There's lots of other ways to help yourself. And I spent any of my downtime where I wasn't regularly seeing a mental health professional, I spent using other sources. Not everybody needs that constant whatever, but being your happiest self for yourself is work, okay? And when you've grown up in a cycling kind of atmosphere where, like, for example, my father being narcissistic, I know I used to be able to manipulate people and fucking do that. I watched my dad do it. I learned it was manipulation. I chose to stop behaving in that manner. And then would only, after I learned that and I accepted that, I would only, there's a couple times, like, for example, when I was dealing with Nightstar, and I was like, she was really stuck. She was in a loop, and I knew if I got, like, more aggressive instead of speaking in a calmer tone, that she would respond, because she was so used to being yelled at throughout her childhood and by her abusive ex. If I raised my voice and showed an actual level of anger, she was going to hear the message better. This is a form of manipulation, chat, okay? Like, this is what this is. But I never did it to make her feel crappy or make her worse. I did it to get her out of that rut. But because of all of that, what I went through, I was capable of learning, like, I basically took overdrive into how not to be my dad, who was a narcissist. But here's the deal, though. Fully accepting that I wasn't the child that he ever wanted, all the way down to the fact I was supposed to be born a boy. From that to, you know, the fact that when he did reconnect with me after my restraining order lifted, he didn't even let the people in his life know that he had 2 daughters. It was just 1 because I was disposable.
For real.
That is so fine with me because one thing I'm so proud of in the last 2 years, I did not call my daddy. I did not. But that's okay because God had a way of me having to learn how to beat him in a different sense because I had been the child of a narcissist, but I had never been in a relationship with somebody who displayed narcissistic traits. And that was a new hell. That was so-called my father-in-law set the stage. We escaped the village. I fell into a situation that ended up becoming so just fucked up, honestly, is the only way I can fucking say it. But now looking at my best friend of 17 years, looking at it and wanting, like, so I didn't know about all this stuff. I didn't know this. I never saw anything that he was doing in the moment like it is. So I wanted to, like what I understand it, why I understand now why I was getting so mind fucked in my brain, why I was acting the way I was, because I was being really crazy for me. Like, for me, I'm usually very independent. I'm very confident. I have a lot of faith. My faith was gone. I was questioning everything. I constantly thought I was a problem, which is not my style. And I couldn't figure out why all these things were happening. Well, so here's the point. People who have parents who, let's say that, like, for me, I was raised by my narcissistic father. Okay, I'm aware of those. So now, but I'm going to have issues because there's going to be an abuse and emotional trauma thing between that already, okay? But now when you're looking at it from different perspectives of relationships, it looks completely different, right? But because it was ingrained in me, I was perfect. I was broken from what I had gone through. The whole trauma our family had suffered, I felt like the jobs that I only cared about in life were being a good wife and mother, honestly. And I felt like I had rocked it up until that point. And then the world imploded. And I couldn't, like, it was so shocking. It was absolutely, like, more radical and came out of left field, out of nowhere than you would ever fucking expect. My third day in the detach, I called I called my doctor that I was seeing regularly and was like, I am currently worried about my mental health. Like, I am, like, not doing well. Like, I knew I was breaking. To go from that into a situation where my father-in-law took such great advantage of me, I just didn't trust myself with people anymore, which put me prime to not trust my gut, not stick to my boundaries, I was a mess. And then got involved with my best friend of 17 years, having an affair, who then turns around and throws in my face that I was a psycho all along. Bro, before you even fucking decided to cross that line, you knew I had been so open about being a psycho about it. But now we're going to throw it in my face and we're going to use it against me. That's funny because I now realize that the way that I stayed the sickest is because I let him in my life. The thing is I believe that he did not understand how or why he was affecting me in that manner. That was what I would not let go of. I would not let go of that. I wanted to believe that he could change. I wanted to believe that he just didn't understand how his behavior. So I was trying, as I was getting healthier, to express myself better. And all I was doing was giving him more keys to dismantle me and be the gigantic, fucking disrespectful shithead he was in the end. You know, it doesn't matter what he did for me or what he thinks he did for me. He did nothing but hurt me because I could have gotten better faster if I wasn't subjected to his behavior, which he clearly doesn't give a fuck about changing. But these cycles continue, and children are watching all the time is where I was going with this. And in the case of my nephew, he has seen a lot more shit in the last couple of years than he's seen a lot of shit in his whole life. It's no joke. But, so when I was kind of caught off guard because actually, I mean, there's a difference and I want to be careful of like how much I'm sharing in this manner, but I mean, his mom just, like, he turned 18, his mom, he has autism. He's never really had a job or anything. And she just up and left and moved to a different state and left him. And because we had an agreement that I would take him. It's not like she was just like, oh, he's not going to be, she knew he'd be taken care of because I'm hopelessly devoted to people who fucking are nasty. Okay. So, but I took him in, of course. And he decided to come with us. And he has been such a pinnacle in helping keep me on track where I probably would have lost my shit because my kids know me. So I was able to be vulnerable and like raw. And it was even scary for them. But for him, I was constantly trying to curb and control my behavior when I was completely out of control because I didn't want him to experience, I mean, he's been through so much, you know? But he would always check on me and he would just, his love is something that is absolutely fucking unreal. But the people in his life have not been so great for him right now. And so when I was contacted and I was like, hey, you know, he's having this problem and he could really use some help. And my plate's kind of full because not only am I healing, but I'm like literally basically I've got 16 to 22-year-old boys here, chat. Okay. I'm carrying everything and there's no reason I should be. And it's changing. And that's what we're changing. But right now with this, but financial planning, the feeding, it's fucking 4 boys, 3 dogs and a cat that I have to fucking worry about all the time. And that's too much. I need to worry about myself right now. And that's the point. Everybody will be better off if they can get a full version of me because I have downtime and whatever. That's why I'm saying, like, I was even talking to your dad today, IG, and I was like, yep. So my plan is this is what we're going to know. I am totally down. This is our new, like, current relationship goal, basically, if you will. I told him, I was like, I am more than happy to help manage a household and do what needs to be done as long as the children and you live in a different house and I have my own. I am totally down with like helping make sure that certain things get taken care of so that like all the fucking, like we can do this co-parenting thing and I will still do a lot, not all, of my duties as I did as a wife and a mother, okay? I will help with things on a certain level, but I will have my own damn place to call my own. That is not something I have to clean to enjoy. That is not something I have to fucking, you know, that is all mine to sit and decompress like y'all need to from the grocery store. And that's the way that this needs to happen. And I don't care how that happens. But that is my current level of commitment. My current level of commitment is that I would be more than happy to help manage children and finances and all of that. I don't want my own room. I want my own place. As long as we can maintain both, then I'm good. And I'm totally down. Which is going to bring me to the next thing on my list is that I'm going to get this job on the island. I think I've got a real chance at. So I got to go down tomorrow. But anyways, my point in going through all of this is I was talking about the emotional abuse cycles and like how they trickle down. So I was talking to this person that contacted me and was concerned about my nephew. And I said, listen, here's what I've told him. Is basically that, you know, he's got some issues because just like my husband or my ex-husband and my nephew's mom, they were raised in an environment where these were being displayed. They had my husband's mom had a very, like we're talking horrifically horrible, like unbelievable horror story of a childhood. Okay. Ended up in this relationship where pregnant and very young and did not want to have a third child when she ended up pregnant with that one. I believe she was constantly trying to leave him, but she was a victim her whole life. The first memory was her mom dropping her off at an orphanage because she was old enough to know she was being given away. She says she always told me the last thing I remembered is getting a bath because we had to be good and clean before she got rid of us. So,
damn.
She led a life that I have so much greater understanding for and so much appreciation and respect for after everything I've lived through right now. And I never would have believed I could miss her as deeply as I do. And boy, do I miss her so much. We had our fucking fallouts, don't get me wrong. But after everything I've gone through in the last 2 years, oh, that woman would be priceless to be able to call. I wish there's so many things I could have said to her just before. So just so she could have had her human form. She knows now, but just so her human form could have had that moment of peace because she was done. She died young. She didn't want to be here anymore. And I understand why. And there's no proof to say that she actually hurt herself, but I'm going to tell you she gave up on living. There's a certain point of where your will matters. She gave up. Not without trying. So, anyways, the bad behaviors like that my ex-husband has, like some of the things that he's done watching as a child and not understand what's going on and not knowing that there's more out in the world and like just the way that these things start to happen, you don't even realize that you're being illy affected by something. You know, and when your parents are both so ignorant that, you know, my mom wasn't. My mom was like, therapy, you know. My dad didn't give a fuck. I was only his child when it suited him. But there's different types of narcissists, which I'm going to do a podcast on that one day. I'm not done learning though. And I'm not going to talk about it until I know. But anyways, my father, I have a feeling, will be malignant, and the others in my life are going to be covert. But anyhow, that's just my guess. Well, stay tuned, chat. I'll let you know when I learn it. But there's little things. I was telling this person, I was like, there's little things that, my nephew does. It's like last week he broke the hot sauce. It fell out of the fridge. The fridge was a mess. There was, whatever. But it's so crazy because the hot sauce fell out of the fridge and he was so panicked. He immediately grabs the broom to throw broken glass sweep, but there's hot sauce involved in it. And so the thing is, though, it was fear. He was reacting out of fear and panic. And I told him, I said, honey, there is nothing in that fridge that is more important than you. Okay? Oh, it's going to be one of those things where we're like, oh, shit. That's a mess, or oh, shit. I said, but it's an accident. You don't need to panic. Nobody's going to hate you. Nobody's going to scream at you. Nobody's going to tell you for the next 3 years how you fucking dropped the hot sauce out of the fridge, because that's what the child's used to. He's used to having his mistakes and his failures thrown in his face. And everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fails. The only tragedy is when we don't learn from it. That's why having my past mistakes right now thrown in my face, go ahead. Launch all the fucking whorish, lobbing, lie grenades, whatever they fucking might be. It doesn't fucking matter to me. Because I know how I behaved. But that doesn't mean that's who I am today. Doesn't mean I make the same fucking choices. I'm fucking human. I made a mistake. But where we stop the cycle is when we're willing to understand and realize that maybe the way we look at the world isn't the way that it is. And then we have to turn around and accept that maybe we internally are struggling. Because most of the things that come from anger or hostility or defensiveness are our own little insecurities that are inside. But if you truly love yourself and are really, truly confident, you're not going to feel that shit. What you're going to feel is, oh, well, womp womp, the end. And you're going to be able to, because you're not going to, you're going to be, that's true confidence. That's where I'm at now. Okay. And I used to be truly confident in the person I was until I didn't know who that person was. Lost my confidence. Well, guess what, bitches? I know who the fuck I am. Not only have I reclaimed a past version of myself, but I just upgraded to 2.0 and it doesn't matter anymore. I'm gonna be me. But what I also realize is me being the person I want to be to the truest, it sets all of them off. My father-in-law was driven batshit crazy because he couldn't get an emotional reaction out of me. I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I was so dead set on not fucking it up for my husband because I always blamed myself in my past for the fact that he didn't talk to his dad, that I would not lose my cool despite my fucking crazy ass way of fucking processing the world at the time. And he was just absolute. He wanted to lie. He wanted the crazy screaming bitch that was going to lose her shit and look like the psycho. That's what he wanted. That's what he had told everybody I'd been. Because I had. That's a fucked up thing. The thing is he was judging me based on my actual truth of a past. I have done some dark ass things that make me wonder if I could, another reason I could wonder, do I really trust myself? Because I've been pushed into corners where I can be a really nasty individual. I'm not that person anymore, and I haven't been that person in years. So anyways, now that my nephew's here, the only thing he really gets yelled at, he didn't get yelled at for breaking the hot sauce, chat. He got yelled at for thinking that hot sauce was going to matter to me more than him, in a fact that he had to panic or be afraid of the outcome, because I don't give a fuck about the hot sauce. I don't care if it was our last fucking dollar, okay? I don't care what it was. The level of upset and panic that my nephew experienced is not okay with me. He can live a better life. He doesn't have to be that afraid. He is loved and he is safe here, and he needs to fucking know that. And that's the only thing he got hollered at about, and I did get stern with him. And I was like, just stop what you're doing. I don't care that you spilt this shit. I care about how you're reacting right now because you're acting like it's going to be the end of the world. My first question is, did you get hurt? Did you get cut? No? Okay, next is, listen, you also don't have to hide your mistakes. You don't have to break the lampshade and turn it to the wall. Which, true story, chat, true story. His mother's advice to the children when they broke a lampshade was to turn it to the wall and just not say anything. I said, you don't have to do that.
My bad.
Because,
Sorry.
because accidents happen, you're human. And I said, did you do something, go out of your way? Were you being careless? Were you being this? There's all kinds of things to take away from it. But in the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the only mistake or failure in our life that becomes a tragedy is the one we don't learn from. Maybe we should clip that.
Bruh.
I say that shit to you kids all the time. It doesn't even sound it.
Streamer wants streamer clip.
Paper lampshade, bro. Okay, whatever. They are, almost all lampshades kind of are actually, Logan. They're like, but here's the deal. What Logan's point is it wasn't like it was some fucking Athens, Greece fucking adaptation of
yeah, fucking some bullshit like that.
Knowing my father-in-law was probably given to him freely out of somebody's garage sale, or he wouldn't have had it anyway. I broke the golden toilet. I don't even want to know, but you should go grab me another orange pop. Anyhow, so it got me talking with this person, and I was like, listen, because I'm starting to think that the outlaws could start their own group. And I'm like, listen, you should probably be aware that there's a really good chance that you also have been traumatized in some way from this family.
Lol.
Meaning my in-laws, because they're really bad, chat. They're really, really, in the whole sordid, dark story, you would understand why they're that messed up. You really would. Well, not my father-in-law. That's all choices. His mother loved me, and I loved her. And we talked, and she was amazing. And I can't even imagine why he came to be what he is today. Because she was the most down-to-earth, real, I don't give a fuck kind of granny. Like, oh my God, I loved my ex-husband's grandma. She, oh my God. I went and I cooked for her. She saw me. She knew who I was. And she told me multiple times. Like, there was one time she even told me, thank you for doing everything you do. My son's a fuck up. I was like, damn. I mean, she didn't say fuck up because she didn't swear like that to me. It would have been something like a special one or something like that is how she would have worded it. Because my father-in-law has 5 other siblings, and from the age of his oldest brother down to him, his oldest brother was 21 years, I think, older than him. So,
damn.
Yeah. So real big age gap, but he's the baby of the family. And one brother and all sisters. So, but anyhow, no. The way that the cycles affect us when you've been around somebody, and even if we're not going to go as far as, because I was explaining to this person, I was like, listen, I don't think my ex-husband is a narcissist. And I don't believe that his sister is either, which is my nephew's mom. I was like, but here's a problem. When you're raised by a narcissist and you learn narcissistic traits, and you don't realize that's what you're learning, and that's the way that you get cemented in thinking that you get in a cemented way of thinking that this is the way the world works. You don't even know how your behavior is actually poorly affecting people who are more in tune with mental health or acting in, like, it's a different world. It's a different universe. And that's the one thing with my friend, is I was like, I really believe, because we shared so much about, like, just kind of how, and I know how his mom can be, but like, I just hoped he'd accept and see. But no, he's comfortable in his life, and I'm wrong about everything. So that's fine. This is just my opinion. This is all theoretical science, and it doesn't matter. But the point is that, like, for me, when people started bringing it to me, I did at first get defensive. And I did at first, like, I could be a real vindictive bitch. But then I started to understand that that's not the way I needed to be. And that's not how that's not how I could be my best person. That's not how everybody's not out to get me. I mean, I've had a lot of growth in my life at this point that, was a choice. It was a choice. I made a choice to not just accept the behaviors that my dad always showed me or think that it was okay the way that he thought. And my dad gave me some of the best advice in my life. Some of the best advice that, and it's stupid that it comes back around this way, and that, you know, I want it, I have to give it credit where credit is due, and I hate doing that anytime. But in the end of the day, life is not 50-50 on any given day. That's what he used to say. In the end of the day, life is not 50-50 on any given day. That's funny now, because I bet he was always carrying like 5% of that fucking weight all the time when he offered me that bit of wisdom. If that. That's fucking hilarious. Hold on just a second, chat. What? Okay.
Everything good?
Well, that's great. Like, no, apparently a dog is peed in Logan's room. Which, by the way, is not really a room. It's a little space of a closet for him to go play his games in.
You hear that, Logan? Your room's not your room.
Well, hey, we make do right now, so everybody can have their space. That's all I'm going to say. He's got a full bed to sleep on, which is more than I can say for others. But anyways, but I was telling this person, I was like, you know, I was like, the behaviors and the traits that, like, my ex-husband and his sister may have learned. One of his sisters, one of them is just off the rails, just totally not even gonna fucking give that one the time of day. But with my nephew's mom, she's definitely got the empathy. She's definitely got the heart. She's got a protective shell. She knows life to be a certain way. She's been susceptible to things. It is, like, very fucking textbook how maybe, like, although she's not, because there's a difference. There's a difference in having narcissistic traits, and this is what I struggled with for months in regards to my friend. Was it just narcissistic traits because of what he'd been exposed to, or was I seeing actual narcissism and I couldn't tell? Well, now it doesn't even matter. The question doesn't matter anymore, because they're not something I will be around. I am not putting myself in that fucking no way anymore. Like, I'm not going to experience those behaviors. That's period. I'm not going, and he's very obviously very resistant to, and takes everything so fucking critical that it's an attack. So check. Okay. It doesn't even matter now if he's narcissistic or has narcissistic traits. I'm not putting up with that bullshit in my life. The thing is with, like, my ex-husband, he's growing and changing. He's trying. It's hard. It's really hard. I'm not sitting here being like, oh, yay, everything's roses. I have no fucking idea. I know that as of today, the boundaries of my relationship commitment is that I will have my own house, my own shit, and I will help manage the family from a financial and emotional perspective. It's still a commitment, though. Maybe it's gonna be what works for us. But either way, that's where we're at. But here's the point in everything that I've been talking about, Chad, is emotional abuse cycles. The reasons why and the fancy names we give it really doesn't matter. I used to hate it. I had to stop paying attention to, hey, my son has autism. What the fuck does that mean? You know, autism is what taught me that. My son has autism. My ex-husband is on the spectrum. And so, like, I'm surrounded by this spectrum, and here's what I've learned about it is that just because you meet one person with autism, you know one person with autism, right? No fucking two. It's more of a, there are certain quirks that might be aligned that can give you a name. Okay? But they're common struggles. The most common struggle is processing and verbalizing emotion. Communication in this aspect for somebody that is on the spectrum is incredibly hard, no matter if it's good or bad. It just makes it's exhausting to, I do, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is a sensory overload to have to give a fuck what other people think, for one. Because if you are so busy navigating that and so in tune and aware, because it really is a higher emotional perception, and you are surrounded by people, and then their senses tend to intensify. So they can hear a little bit better, even in those, where put me in a crowded room, and I am gonna not even hear you if you're right in front of my face. I am not keenly aware of every fucking conversation going on around me. But, so, where was I going with this? Because I was just talking about, like, understanding the difference between so it takes them a little bit longer. Okay, I guess is where I was going, but there will be change. There's effort. There might be resistance, and there might be, a waiting period. But here's the point, no matter what you're struggling with in life, if it is something that is not on a sociopathic level, which narcissism is considered a sociopathic personality disorder, okay? Meaning that they have actually, and a lot of times, I understand now I understand why people think that those that are on the spectrum have no empathy. But what it actually is they're being so overwhelmed by their empathy that they are having trouble processing it because they can't process typical things at the same speed and understanding and be able to articulate it as others, right? So the real fucking fine line that comes in between all of this is the symptoms from whether you're dealing with trauma to autism to narcissism. You're going to find some common hairs in between all of them, which can really make everything all kinds of fucking confusing, okay? But this is why my ex-husband and I work so well. Here's the problem. My ex-husband is on the spectrum, but watching how his parents conducted relationships, he had a very dead set idea of how a relationship should be as well. And he was raised by a narcissist. So he would behave in manners that my daddy issues thrived on. But they weren't with the ill intent that narcissists actually know they are doing. And a true narcissist absolutely knows what they're doing, and that's why they resist change. People who are not aware of what they are doing and wanting to be willing to hear you when you give a constructive criticism or a feeling will not want you to hurt that way. And that's where narcissists drop the ball and do it every single fucking time. So, and then this spills down. So people who are raised by narcissists are more likely to find themselves in relationships with narcissists or other emotionally abusive behavior or relationships, okay? Whether they unknowingly adopt behaviors that they've watched or learn. See, it's really about this. My dad always hurt me, so I decided how I was going to be the opposite. And then when I realized how I was even being remotely like him, I found out why. And instead of becoming a narcissist, I guess I became an empath, because that's on my list of things was my sixth sense. That's what I was going to talk about. But my sixth sense, now that I understand the science behind how I got there, I think one of the hardest pills to swallow was the fact that, technically my mom neglected me, and that's why I have it in a lot of ways. And my mom was likely just raising me the way her mom did, which is why my mom had it in the first place. And her mom's mom was we were raised to be independent, do-it-yourself women. You better know how to change your oil and change your tire and fuck all men kind of fucking mentality. And it goes down for generations. Okay? And so, kind of can run away with you there for a minute too. I'm not going to lie. But in the end, these are cycles. So if you're really unhappy with your life and you're not willing to take any constructive criticism, you're never going to change. And you shouldn't be there to change people. Like, if you're around somebody that's not willing to change, it's not your job to change them. It's your job to walk the fuck away and be like, all right, look, I let my feelings be clear. This is what I think, whether they like it or not. But if they start attacking you, there's no obligation to put up with their mouth or their bullshit. Okay? Just walk the fuck away. And everybody says, oh, but I can't because they're this, or I can't because they have kids, or yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's not going to be pretty. Like, I mean, I can't imagine. And I can talk all this shit, but imagine that I would have had to go to like a homeless women and children's center in order to get away from one of these people. I can't imagine that. I didn't live that life. I jumped out my window and I only had to be responsible for myself. Okay, at 15. But I can't fucking sit here and presume I can understand the kind of implications, but here's what I can tell you, no matter what, you can. What happens is, please don't wait for it to be so bad that you are willing to do what you're not willing to do right now. That is, whatever excuse you're giving something for why you can't do it, it's because life hasn't gotten bad enough where can't isn't even an option anymore and you have no other choice. And somehow this universe will bring us all back to that. So you want to ignore the fact that you might be a toxic fucker? Well, fine. But it's going to come back to bite you and your life is going to have it. It is like a cycle. Everything cycles. But you can be the change. And that's what I was telling this individual today is I was like, my nephew is starting to understand ways that he reacts traumatically. I've told him why I believe, from what I know, that he reacts that way. And now that I'm grounded and centered and can you know, like process things and have my confidence back in them. I told him flat out. I told this person, I was like, you're probably touched by this too. Here's a couple great resources. Go help yourself. Take it from me, because you can tell when somebody still has, you know, like hurt and anger towards another individual for how they've been treated. Because, you know, when you're feeling like you're lowest and you're struggling in life, you're going to get salty towards them. That is, I think, what has been so hard for me in these last couple weeks, is that even that saltiness is gone. Like, I'm not fueled by any level of anger for anybody that I've interacted with. If there's anything, I am sad that the person I saw was actually a narcissist. And I'm going to be real with you, chat. Here's why. The reason why it always feels too good to be true when you're dealing with a narcissist is because they mirror you. And there's nobody I actually do love more than myself. And if that is true, he's a narcissist, and he was mirroring back to me something that is not existing in this world, because there's only one of me. And that's why it feels so good to be true. That's why we question it. That's why we're like, oh my God, that's why we get so infatuated. That's why we chase it. But really, if you're chasing a narcissist, the truth is, you just love yourself down that deep, because they've only pretended to be who you need them to be in order to draw whatever power and energy they can from you. So really, what you're not willing to do is actually just love yourself that way and not chase it anywhere. But here's the sad thing that it has made me realize. There are certain aspects of my life that if I was just dating a reflection of myself in the time that this was going on, how those are lost goals. Because some things that, can I just get a doppelganger? I'll be good. I'm fine with myself. I do need two of me. It's pretty awesome. But that's the wrong mentality, because that's how you end up in these situations. So you just got to be happy to love yourself enough to do it that way. So anyways, the choice comes down to being big enough and willing to understand that the world might not be the way that you think it is. And then wanting to be the difference in the change and not just navigate it. Life can be a game that you play and look at it that way, or it can be something you live and experience. And the saddest part is, I really thought he was a liver and an experiencer. But the truth is, that's not it. He was just mirroring me. It's just whatever looks good. So it wasn't even real. Which is so ironic, because he sent me that song. Was any of it real? He was talking to him. It was not about us. But now I look at it and I'm like, no. Now I get it. Like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. And he couldn't even live up. What? Can you not hear me anymore?
Mother trucking fucking Discord, bro. I've been talking like this whole time.
Oh.
And get, like, interjecting. And then when you weren't responding to me, I fucking
started to get mad and found out I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't even remember what I had said. I was chirping in, like, you know.
Well, whatever you said that
whatever.
just made you realize that you felt ignored. What was that? That's what matters.
I don't even remember, because I'm more pissed off that Discord has done this bullshit to me.
Multiple times.
Dude, okay. I'm gonna just let it go right now, but I'm upset.
Well, I was talking about the fact that I basically was dating a reflection of myself, which is why I probably had the illusion of being so in love. And so that also means that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't fucking have anything. I don't know.
No, but anyways, narcissists mirror. That's what they do. And then, so my dad became the best dad during the time that he was with a woman that really cared about how he was going to be as a father. Wonder if that ever took place, because I was really harpy on that. The most attracting thing is that I thought he was such a great father, but then his kids wouldn't even talk to him. So I just ignored red flags, chat. It's really not important. But but like, I'm kind of stupid. I was kind of stupid. Well, not anymore, because I changed, because I grew. So here, on this topic, before I talk about keys and wallets, because this was hilarious, but on this topic, no problem ever gets solved with a narcissist, because if they solved their problems, they'd lose their excuses. That's a quote I read today.
Ooh.
So true.
Smart.
So we'll go on from that to a new island bar opened up and I'm going to get a job. I'm fucking dedicated. I've just decided I was going to fill it out online, but nope. I'm going to walk right in there with a resume and I'm going to be like, look at me. Here I am. You want me to work here. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm about to tell you why I can help this place because it just opened on Tuesday and I want in. They host concerts. They're right on the fucking water. And I'm going to go get me a job. Watch me, chat. Watch me. I'm going to walk in there and ask for the fucking manager.
Witness me.
On a Monday morning. No, maybe I shouldn't. No, I'm going to do it on Monday morning when order of business is taken care of. And I'm going to be like, I want to see a manager. And here's why. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go get the job. I'm not even going to worry about the resume. I'm not going to sweat over. I'm just going to walk in there and be like, I want a job here now. Here's why. I'm not going to look great on paper. And I am still going to make your life amazing because employing me is the best decision of your life. I'll let you know how it goes, chat. Monday morning. Wish me luck. I get my cute outfits on. So I was going to talk about that. So I had this funny fucking thing because I was talking back to my nephew. I was talking to him about the conversation that I had with this person in his life because I don't keep any secrets. And I was like, here, I talked to this person. Here's what was said. Blah, 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 blah. And I look at him and I'm talking. And I was like, it is my belief that, he's probably been touched with trauma. Don't worry. I introduced him to Mel Robbins. He's going to be fine now. And my nephew looks at me and goes, this one time, because I said something that triggered this. I was like, you'll notice this, and this kind of behavior out of people who are struggling in this manner, blah, blah, blah. And my nephew turns around and he's like, this one time, my dad absolutely, he lost his wallet and then he had a fit. And after he had a fit, he gave me a hug and he told me he was sorry. And I didn't ask a lot of details about the fit because I already know the situation. So I'm like not worried that he did anything to harm. I just believe that, this person was like, his dad was like, I got really stressed out. And it made me realize, I was like, you ever really want to know the truth about the worst a person can be? Take away their wallet or their keys. Have them be going to leave or going to do something and unable to find their keys or their wallet, and you will see the worst side, almost the equivalent of the worst side of the person imaginable.
Hello?
If you watch their behavior, how many times when I lose my wallet or my keys am I like, I hate this feeling, and that's what I say. But most people are like, panicked. I mean, you're talking about your life credentials, all your money, everything. I mean, it's a reason to fucking have this natural reaction to lose your shit when you can't find your keys or your wallet. Okay? Like, you're either not going to be able to leave to go take care of anything, or you literally can't take care of everything because everything about who you are is stuck in a fucking, whatever, And so, it made me think, though. I was like, if you really think about it, then I was like, wait. If I come up with this theory and I go onto my podcast and I talk about it, am I suggesting to people that when you first start dating, you hide their keys or their wallet? No, to be clear, I'm not. No, I had to think about it. I had to think about it if I wanted to suggest here's the conclusion. Here's the conclusion my brain came to. I was like, oh, that's a real traumatic experience and we should never inflict trauma on anybody. But now I'm providing the information. If you really want to test somebody, take their keys in their wallet, and then you'll find out who they are. Just know you're going to do damage. I'll leave it up to you. Because that is for real. There is not, especially if you're really going somewhere important, Important. Yeah.
I would not leave it. I would not purposely lose someone those things if they have to go somewhere important, though. That's just cruel.
Yeah. So, and last on my list is that we need to get Daisy a tune-up. I need her double, triple checked. I need to make sure everything is in a place. I've gone the amount of miles I need to go to break in 4-wheel drive, and I want to go mudding.
Nice.
Do you want to go mudding with me?
I mean,
do you know what mudding is?
Think about it. Isn't that like fucking riding a roller coaster but in a Jeep? I don't do well with those kind of things.
Well, no. I mean, I would be in control. It'd be like, no. Muddin is when you go and kick up as much dirt as you can and splash and play in mud puddles in a 4-wheel drive.
Oh, well, I mean, well, that doesn't sound that bad. Maybe I would do that.
I mean, we're going to want to make sure her seatbelts are connected. Why the hell? What the fuck? Do you watch my damn stream and just sense when I am going to fucking end it when you pop in here? What is your problem?
I'm at work.
That's a good problem to have.
That is, but I do not stream at the same time every day. I do not do these things.
No, but I see
Well,
whenever I happen to
Yeah,
look
go
at
ahead
my
and start
phone
those,
and
Pan.
see
I
a
totally forgot, Logan.
notification
Yeah.
is live, so I'm like, oh, Andromeda is actually here now? Because I was in earlier and you guys were AFK. So.
Oh, I've been dealing with everything today. I can't wait to tell you the real, like, not that I'm not being real and raw with you guys, but Parker knows everybody involved, so I get to talk freely, where here I am like, I'm being very careful about whatever I share about anybody because, you know, the watchers watch and the talkers talk.
Arcane doesn't get the legal protection.
Yeah, I get to just be like, he's that's why he's my best friend. I get to be like, so-and-so, and he knows who so-and-so is, and then I get to be like, blah, 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 and then he usually goes, so, and on to something new, but at least I get to say it. That's the point.
Something else happened.
Oh, I've had a day. Oh, not something else with the insignificant person you're worried about. No, I've had a day doing real life. It's been real life, but it's annoying real life, and I can't wait to tell you about it. Because you're my best friend.
Okay.
We're bestest friends.
Bestest friends. Wait, what did Logan say? Logan, I love so and what I don't think this. I believe I can't remember the actual phrase, but he goes, "We're getting soft tacos later."
You're my best friend now.
Yeah.
We're getting soft tacos later.
I doubt he was heard.
I heard him.
Put my double.
At least.
Oh, did you? I put my double
Yeah,
fuzz
I
back
don't know.
on. It was double fuzz because it was a fuzz that goes on my fucking microphone, and then it was covered in dog hair.
Mm.
Yeah, yum yum. So we're having brats and
Why'd
orange.
you say yum yum?
I was being facetious. Look, my brain still uses some words.
She's a dog hair eater. Everybody point and laugh.
I mean, I bet you I consume more dog hair than the average person, considering they all sleep on me.
See, I just proved it.
So, we're just ending stream, Power Cane. I guess I'm going to hang up on these people and come talk to you.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I meant these people being chat.
Wow.
IG, you're still in the Discord with us. We're all in Discord. I'm just going to stop live
Oh, I
streaming.
thought
it.
I was the chat. Oh, my bad.
I
Ha,
thought-
loser.
Oh, you thought you were your chat just because I couldn't hear you, but the other day you were calling yourself my co-host. Like,
Oh,
I
dude,
need
I'm
more than
so
one.
mad, dude.
This is my show.
Well, then why am I dragged here every day? It's like she just
'Cause I
comes
love
out
you.
of nowhere. I'm like floating in space, and all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere and she's like, "I'm gonna podcast. Come on." I'm like,
True
"Oh."
story. All right, that is truth. You
So
just
if
all
I
right.
am being dragged in here, I'm the damn co-host at the very least.
Fair. Fair argument, position awarded. And that's how I'm going to get my job on Monday.
And that's how you, get a job. Just force it.
Whoa. Too many people to take those to new levels. So, Parkin, I got to run out to the store real quick. And besides that, it was a beautiful drive in Daisy. Oh, my God, the drive home. No, we're getting like some sort of tropical storm. And the wind right now, I'm addicted. But I forgot to stop where I was going to stop. So, I got to go do that real quick. But I'll be home in the next 10 minutes. Are you going to still be around in Discord or what?
If IG's gonna be here, yeah.
Wow!
Huh.
Fuck these guys,
because-
man. You know what, Chad? I don't know. You know what? What is it?
Hold on.
Fuck. No, I just muted his ass. I can hear him, but you guys can't. Yeah, they're muted now. I shouldn't have muted him, Chad. He said something kind of sweet. He just didn't want to waste his headset because we
debatable.
weren't here. He wanted to save it
That's
so he
why I
could.
left
He wanted
earlier
to
when you
save
were
it.
AFK.
He wanted to save it so he could talk to Andromeda more. Except for you only called out IG, so that's fine. I'll just leave.
That's because you were leaving. Jeez, what the fucking gaslighting bullshit, bro?
Gaslighting.
You know what? 100%. Okay, I'm called out. You're absolutely right. I was being a bitch. I'm sorry. All right, I understand the whole scenario now. I was being unfair.
You're
My bad.
professional at this point. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Okay, well, let's
Fuck.
not
Okay,
take it that
let's.
far.
Yeah. Wow, buddy. You know what? It's only your
Let's not be
exceptional.
mean
Hey,
here.
it is only your exceptional communication tactics and explaining it to me in the nature that you're willing to that allows me to know that I'm wrong anyway. So congratulations to you. You're a rock star.
That's the
I'm a rock star. Do I get a fast present?
fast present.
Well,
Is that a
Andromeda.
fast
Hey,
gun?
Andromeda's been called out twice in this stream. It's a miracle. Yeah, and she still owns her shit. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and listen to somebody say speak some truth and just be defensive. I'm going to listen to truth and be like, oh, shit. Yep, my bad. Because,
Oh,
you know,
shit, here we
that's,
go again.
yeah, it's just the way that's what, PSA, that is what healthy mental health looks like.
That's what smart people look like.
That too.
If you
All
want
right,
to be smart,
chat.
be mentally sound.
Well, now the Power Cane's here. You guys know what time it is. It's time to end the stream and for me to tell you, take a bubble bath and take care of yourself and make sure you give
welcome,
yourself
guys,
love.
every time I come in. Yeah.
Well, you always
That's
do
right.
it. Bro, we've been live for over an hour right now, and I try to keep it with 30 minutes. It never works. Say bye-bye.